just because I have so much to do, I don't want to deal with it. So as a parent, I would encourage you, you need to take time to understand them. And don't guide them to produce an answer that will please you. You have to allow them, even use drawing. Sometimes I say, you draw to me how what had happened and so on. Or maybe I draw, you tell me, okay, so-and-so tap you or push you. Okay, how many people around you? They may say, they can't tell it's 3 or 4. Then I say, tell me their names. Then I write it and I draw it. And then, they tell me the neutral information. And I find it very helpful. Okay, talking about organization skills, honestly, it's not too early to start to train them, even then when they are 2, 3 years old. The reason why, first of all, for us as a parent, sometimes we want to help them to do a lot of things, which is very good. But if we help them, where is your child? Are they observing you, how you handle what you need to do? Sometimes I know we can do things much faster than our children, like tying the shoelace. I remember someone told me you must train your child to tie the shoelace. I say, why bother? I can buy those sneakers with Velcros. But honestly, later on, even if you don't wear this kind of shoes, you still have to learn how to tie a knot. Okay, so eventually I decide to spend time to teach my child. So what happened was, first of all, I am going to let her to tie her own shoelace on the day when I'm not in a hurry. If this is on the day that I'm in a hurry, I will get frustrated. Poor girl, she will get stressed because I'm sure I will scold her. Hurry up! And sometimes, honestly, we say words that we don't mean to. Like, how come you're so silly and stupid or whatever? I told you so many times and you still cannot do it. And actually, that's not good because they still need to practice, that particular skills. They need their own time. So I learned that, and I have to be very careful how to react and respond when I teach them the new skills. So coming back, organization skills. If you decide to pick up and organize the toys for your children, let them observe you or involve them. Because if you don't do that, she will take it for granted. Every time when she finishes playing with her toys, she knows mom and dad will clean up for you. Grandparents will clean up for them, and they will never learn that skill. And I have to tell you, what is the consequence? Not consequence. What will be the effect later on? I'm sorry, I tell you some of the embarrassing things that happen in school. Sometimes, if you look at a student desk, it's very messy. Last year, I taught middle school students organization skill. I gave them pop quiz, and the quiz was, I inspect their locker. Wow, they're so freaked out because I taught them how to organize. They learn it, but they never do it. So what I'm trying to encourage you to do is, yes, there are times that you want to hurry up the process. You might want to clean up the toys for your children. But while they are young, you need to train them. You need to help them so that they are learning the responsibility, so that when they are older, you can give them more responsibility. They will do it for you. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now we talk about physical and intellectual development. Physical, I said it earlier. It is normal for kids being active, and you want them to stay active and be healthy. Okay? But at the same time, it is very, very important. They also need to learn how to sit still. Okay, Mr. Yu just walked in. He's very active. I worked with him all this year. I did not know he goes to the gym nearly every night. He's active, He stays healthy. He runs around too. But at the same time, he can sit still. When we do work together, he can sit for a long time. We can sit for a long time. But for young children, okay, they like to run around. Nowadays, many kids, sometimes people misdiagnose that they have ADHD. Do they really, are they really active, or do they really have ADHD problem? Okay, we just have to be very careful. So, on the flip side, remember, later on I will share with you some ideas. They must learn how to sit still, But doing what? And I will give you some activities that you can try with your kids. Now, when your child run around, go around, okay, or let them to do their work actually is play. The playing time actually is their work. Because through playing, they learn. Through playing, okay, they learn how adults' life is like. That's why you see little girls, they play with the kitchen toys. You know, some boys, they like to imitate, you know, some of the adults, how they play soccer. You know, whatever they got exposure, you know, with. So they want to pretend like that I'm a mom, you know, little girls, they play with dolls because that's how the mom take care of them, you know, when they were young or when they take care of their siblings. So this is the way how they learn about life too. But the problem that we have nowadays is I think we are very wealthy when compared to many, you know, people, because especially living in America, I bet all of us in here, we have a cell phones, right? And many of us, we also maybe have an iPad. And I bet everyone must have a computer at home. So this group of children, you know, as soon as they're born, they actually are growing up in this culture, which is very different from you and I. My youngest son, you know, people say he belongs to the what's so-called net generation, internet. But I'm sure your kids who are 5 years old, your child is in a different generation. It's what they call the I generation. Everything is I, whatever, iPhone, iPad. So, you know, even babies, they know what is an iPad. They know what an iPad can do for you. Okay, when they touch it, something pops up. Wow, you know, this is exciting. So the kind of toys that they play is different from ours. Maybe some parents, they don't give them toys, but they give them iPhone, iPad, and computer games. And that's also not very good either, because then they're missing the opportunities to run around too. Play is very important. When they were young, as a toddler, they play with their friends. Like when they go to preschool, they play with friends. But the kind of play that they play is, say, kitchen toys, we all play together. But I play my set, you play your set, or we play with the set that we all share. But in kindergarten, it's different. Because they are in a different stage of life, they learn to play with each other. There's interaction. So what happens when they play together? Not only they make friendships, but this concept starts to go into their mind. Competition. In the past, there is no competition in that concept. Baby, why do they need to compete? Even toddler, why do they need to compete? But later on, as they grow up, when they go to the playground, they start to like to run. Sometimes they want to compete, who can run faster. And even inside the classroom, you know, they don't mean to, you know, everyone is going to do the homework. But there's always someone finish faster than the other one. So they are picking up this concept, which they don't know what it is, but it's competition. What's wrong with competition? There's nothing wrong, but not every child can take competition in a positive way. Some kids, they cannot lose. If they lose, they cry, they get upset. You know, you nod your head, so you understand what I'm talking about. Some, they are very angry, they upset, sometimes they kick, you know, they punch, they don't mean to hit you, but they just cannot keep their hands to themselves because they need to let out their frustration. So for you as a mom, you have to, and dad, you have to be very careful, okay? There are times that your child cannot be number one for every activities. They cannot come first for every area, okay? We want them to, but in reality, it might not happen. So you also have to prepare them so that they will know how to handle their emotions. Talking about emotions, there's negative and positive. Children, just like adults, we want people to respect us. We all have our own self-esteem. And our self-esteem can affect the way how we perform. And honestly, children, whether they're 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, they're in the same boat. They're on, you know, in the same way. So something that I learned from the past that I would like to share with you, please do not repeat what I did. I think I'm a perfectionist too. When my children start to learn to write those alphabets, okay? Exactly the same kind of homework that your child went through so many years ago. I make a mistake one time. Maybe she was very tired. She did it, but it was not up to my expectation. I erased it, and then there was one time I actually erased it so hard so there's a big hole. She cried, and I felt so bad I did not know what to do. Because what happened was, when you erase a child's homework, actually that's equivalent to what? Like you as an adult, you spend a lot of effort to do your project for your company. Your boss or your co-worker look at your project. Actually, it's not too bad, but it just did not meet your boss' expectation. Then your boss actually is going to put it aside or put it in the trash can. How would that make you feel? Not good at all. Very sad, right? So in the same way, this is what I learned too. When your children are doing their homework, remember, some kids, they need more time to practice and to master their penmanship. Okay? They cannot produce the perfect C or perfect S. They need time to practice. So when they cannot do well, please keep that in mind. Still praise them for their efforts. Because that will help them to understand, yes, although my character did not look nice, my alphabet is not nice, but at least mom and dad knows that I'm trying my best. So praising the effort is different from praising, the outcome. Often we as parents, we are only looking at the outcome and not looking at the effort. That's something that I learned from my children, and I want to remind you and I want to show you. Please remember, it is very important. Because you can imagine, if whatever effort they put in, we don't recognize. Can you imagine when they go to first, second, third grade, they have more and more homework? Very easily, they will refuse to do their homework. First, the works are getting harder. Secondly, even if they try their best, but we don't recognize that, and then they don't get good grade, who wants to do homework? It's just too hard for them. So really have to rethink the way how you communicate to the kids so that they can self-motivate doing the work. Because otherwise, if we give them discouragement all the time, actually we are damaging their self-esteem. That's why they don't want to deal with it. Because whether they do it or not, they will not get affirmation from us. So please keep that in mind. Parental influential. I share with you, whatever you do, your children are actually observing you. The way how we take care of our children, more or less, you're also imitating your parents too. Okay, so just like from today, if there are things that, I think in the past, there were things that I don't think that I handled properly, or maybe that's not the best way to handle the situation. After tonight, I want you to rethink, what can you do to change the situation? And why do I say, why our parents or we, have such an important role in their life? I have two stories to share with you. Both of them just happened this week, so I'll just type it in this afternoon. 2 days ago, a grandma came to me and said to me and shared with me how excited she is with the new grandbaby boy that she had. So the baby boy is about maybe 15 months old now. Okay, he is at the stage of crawling and walking. Often when they ask the baby to crawl or to come over, the baby refused. And one day, his parents left his iPhone somewhere on the coffee table or on the floor. No one's around. The baby saw the phone, quickly crawled to the iPhone. And grandma said, wow, how can he do it? When I asked him to come, he never come. But then he will go to this iPhone. But why iPhone? It's not colorful. It's just a little square black box. But what I'm trying to pick up from there was, because if parents always go on or to play with their cell phone, the baby can tell that this must be a very special thing that an adult or a human being should have or to hold on to it all the time.